In this video, we'll learn how to use Excel to make a graph of a function and label the axes on that graph. In order to graph a function in Excel, you must first create an input-output table that contains the span of points that you would like to use for your graph. I'm going to go ahead and create an example graph of the function f of x equals x plus 5 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. I'm first adding labels to the top of an input-output table, and now I need to decide on the span of x's for which I want to view the graph. Sometimes these values might be given to you, and other times you have to figure them out for yourself. I'm going to go ahead and create this graph starting at x equals -7 and spanning up to x equals 5. Remember, you can create the x's by entering the very first x value, in my case that's -7, and then going over to the fill command, selecting series. I want to fill the columns in step values of 1 by stopping at x equals 5. Press OK, it fills them in. I now define the function values using an equal sign to start. It is the x value found in cell A2 plus 5 times the x value found in cell A2 minus 1 times the x value found in cell A2 minus 3. Remember to fill it with multiplication symbols in between each of those factors. I press enter and it calculates the value. I go back up, put my cursor in the bottom right-hand corner until it looks like a little black cross. I double-click and it fills in the y values. All right, now I have my input-output table for which I want to see the graph. The next step in creating a graph in Excel is to highlight that input-output table. Notice you only highlight the values in the table. Do not go beyond that to a lower row. Do not go beyond that to a further column. Only highlight the cells of your table. You then go to the Insert tab, over to the Charts group, and select the little button that looks like a scatter plot. It'll pull up your options. Now sometimes in this course we will use scatter plot. If you hover over that, you can see it creates just the dots, the scatter plot of those points. Other times you may be interested in seeing the scatter plot points together with connected smooth lines. Most of the time in this course, though, we're interested in just getting a sense of what the function itself looks like. This is called scatter with smooth lines. I'm going to select that. So now I have created a graph of this function spanning from x is -7 up to x is 5. You'll notice that it put the title of the graph at the top. It is also important that you label the input axis and the output axis. This will be especially important when you're dealing with a real-world contextual situation so that you can label the meaning of each axis. To do that, make sure your graph is selected. Notice right now my graph is selected. I can click my cursor out of it into some other cell in the worksheet, and now the graph is not selected. When it is selected, I click on it again. You see these three little buttons come up over on the side. If you click the little plus button, if you click that, it pulls up the chart elements options. We're interested in adding axis titles. So I select axis titles, and you see then it creates text boxes, one for the horizontal and one for the vertical. And they're just text boxes. Once they're there, you can go into the text box and you can change it. Now in this case, I didn't create a contextual real-world problem, so I don't really have any meaning for those. But it might be the case, for example, that you would write like seconds along here and height of a ball along here or whatever. You could put the meaning of the horizontal and the meaning of the vertical.